This is the Fearless Launching Show. I'm your host, Anne Samoilov, and we're going to be talking today about the evolution of your new program. So I know you've spent maybe months creating it and planning it out and everything, but I want to talk about the changes that start happening sooner than you think and how to handle them. And I'm going to share a little behind the scenes about one of my programs and kind of some of the changes that have occurred just in the first 6 months of this new totally new version of the program. So if that sounds interesting to you, keep listening. The Fearless Launching Show was created to answer the question, how can I launch my big idea to the world in the most simple, straightforward way possible and reach more of the right people? I'm your host, Anne Samoilov, and I've been helping 6- and 7-figure business owners launch for over a decade. And while I love geeking out about improving launches, new launch strategies, what's working, what's not working, I'm also obsessed with exploring the heart, the mind, the challenges of running your own business. And that's what we're going to do each and every week. I want to show you how to launch that course or coaching program or other creative work and navigate the journey of being an online entrepreneur. So if you're ready for some new perspectives, some new stories around launching, well, I can't wait to share those with you. Let's get into today's episode. Well, hey there, welcome back. So today I wanted to share with you two things. First of all, I want to talk about the evolution of programs, when to start making changes if you've just created something brand new, and also a little look inside my program, the Fearless Launching Incubator, which you might have known about, the first brand new launch of this program because it's been completely revamped, or it was completely revamped as of the fall last year, last 2021. You'd be surprised that there's already things that we have changed and are planning to change and add to the program. Now, I get questions about this specific offer, but I figured why not do a podcast that really walks through the process of creating this kind of a program where it's a little bit longer, it's a little bit higher of an investment, it's more intensive, it's more hands-on, and and you might be thinking about creating your own intensive year-long program or 12-month, 6-month program or 3-month program, whatever that is, looks like for you. So what I did say is that I completely revamped it. So I always think of this current incarnation of the program as it's a brand new thing. But to be honest, the program started a few years ago, and I had it as a 3-month program where people came in and it was going to be a quarterly thing. It wasn't always open. So, but we're talking now about the new 2021-2022 incubator that you may have seen and may have heard me talking about. So you'd think you start a program and it would take some time, or you create this program, you spend months creating it already, you launch it, and then you think, okay, well, it probably is going to take some time before I'm going to want to make any changes. Like when we're first creating, we want it to be great out of the gate. We want it to be exactly what it's going to be. But that just isn't going to be true in terms of like the changes that you're going to want to make. So the program starts changing literally the second people start coming through the doors. They start signing up. They start enrolling to work with you, or they reach out to work with you. It even starts in the launch of that program. So as soon as you host your first coaching call, it's already changing. Every single thing that you do, deliver, and part of that fulfillment of the program, that in itself can change because you discover new things, new situations, new scenarios. You see what's working, what's not, and different from marketing. Making sure your program is doing what it needs to do is a different type of project. In my opinion, actually, you don't want to let things sit and gather data at a specific rate. You don't want to say, well, let's just have 100 people go through this program and then we'll make changes. You don't want to survey every single person to make sure what you think is true is true. There are things you'll be able to tell pretty immediately. And then often those changes might be happening behind the scenes, like, oh gosh, this onboarding or orientation call, well, it did not they did not get automatically invited to it. So what are we going to do? Or there may be systems behind the scenes that don't even let you know someone. Maybe you discover that someone actually applied to your program and they actually said yes, but then nothing else happened. So even that like little sales process can have hiccups. And like I said, often these changes start by things you notice behind the scenes with the way you show up, your process, the help you might need in just delivering it and giving people a good experience. It could even be something as simple as you realize, even though you're not focused on, say, the community, the Facebook group, that your people would really love it and they're craving that interaction with their fellow people in the program. So in the first 6 months of a program, you might be able to see if, like I said before, your process of fulfilling the actual program and in general is actually working. Are you doing everything that you said you were going to do? You'll be able to see if you're onboarding people correctly, if your content is working for people, if people are actually consuming the content. The fact that if people aren't actually consuming it, that's not necessarily just because they don't want to do a course or they don't want to go through videos. It could be something else. If the right people joined the program and are getting the most out of it, that you're going to be able to tell as well. And you're going to be able to really see at least glimmers of your content either helping or not helping people. Now, I say all this because I don't want you to wait to shift your coaching calls, to look deeper at your systems, to hire someone to manage your community, to improve the quality of your content, to think deeply about how to improve the experience for your people. I don't want you to wait. So one of the things I don't ever tell people about the incubator. Okay, we have people coming into the program, developing their programs for the first time. And even though I believe on the sales page, it might say something like people who have a program that they want to, whatever. I can't remember exactly where it says something, but you would think that people who already have a program, know they're going to launch it, come in. But we often have people come in who are just developing their curriculum for the first time. In fact, every single person in the program right now is doing that to some extent, which is amazing, right? There's only one person I feel like who might not be, who might already have their business structures kind of set, and we're just helping them with the system. Now, so we're not just developing their launch, we're also developing their program, defining their audience, and everyone comes in at a slightly different spot of awareness in terms of their business and what they've been doing. Some people have been coaching forever and they're now creating a program which doesn't necessarily relate to the coaching, but they want to do more of the coaching, they want a little better mix of the two, basically. And so how can you be prepared for that? You can't be prepared for that. You can only create your offer and know, what it is you want people to get out of it. And then it'll be their decision to come in. And then you get to make all these great discoveries about where people actually are when they come in. You can make changes, adjust things that you thought were important, maybe remove those things, maybe add things that actually are helpful and useful. And I'll tell you about some of those things. Actually, one example off the top of my head is just that I wanted to make sure that there were coaching calls for people every single week. But the truth is, people are taking advantage more of the critiques. We have refocus sessions, and they're not so concerned about sending their questions to that coaching call because they are getting them answered in different ways. And the content is answering their questions. So now we're kind of re-looking at all of this. The co-working sessions that we do every single week are also something that I didn't expect to be important, but people do like those as well. Or at least they like knowing they're there, even if they don't show up. So let's dive in to some of the things about, this is a little behind the scenes look, but how things started, right? Like I said before, the incubator started at 3 months, then I went to 6 months, and then 1 full year off, and then I worked with a coach to develop a 12-month program. And because my feeling is that when people launch, they're not launching once, and I want to see them through the whole process. I don't want to see them launch once and then I never talk to them again. I want to see them launch. I want to help them figure out what happened, and then I want to help them launch again, because it's in the improvement that your launch system is created. Now, at first, the curriculum was not a curated experience. It was literally just pop all my programs in a little area and they have access to that. There were bi-weekly coaching calls. I think the very first session, there was like a coaching session that was offered for everyone. And then during the 6-month version, maybe there were 2 over the program that people could access. But now we have a 12-month program. We are shifting those calls, but we have all these ways for people to get feedback, from the weekly critiques of submitting anything and everything every single week if they want to. We do have the coaching calls where they can submit questions for that. There is a community, though I want to say people mostly save those for the critique stuff. And now we have 30-minute refocus sessions that we offer people every month. Not every month you're going to need one, but especially during a launch, it's great to have a few touch points with other people, other humans who can tell you you're not nuts or get you back on track. So what we've changed then in the last 6 months already, that we've added new content. Like I said, we added new ways to refocus each month. We continued using the critiques and coaching calls because those were working. And it's just been going at a nice clip. We recently had a sprint for a program that is included. The training that's in this program is included in the incubator. So all of those incubator members jumped into the sprint and got their launch communication kind of figured out for the coming launches that they're going to be doing. And other people as well were in there, like the past members of that program. So we're at it. We kind of tested that out, that kind of structure of having this implementation period, and it worked really well. So much was achieved. So now the future of the program is that we are going to be creating some alternate time commitments for the program. And that really is something that I'm not sure how it's going to look yet, but I do acknowledge that some people have everything done. Their program is done. They just need a launch structure. Maybe they're launching in a month and a half, or 6 weeks, and they just want to come in for 3 months, 4 months, and then leave. We're working on what that's going to look like, which of course leads to different investment commitments for people as well. We are creating a different community location because I just can't. It's like my brain is making me ignore Facebook. I will find notifications from the incubator group that people have left messages literally more than a week after they've left it. And I've turned on notifications. So it's like something in me doesn't want to be there. So we're creating this different location. Not on Mighty Networks, but it is, it's not similar to it, but it's a pretty known one. So should be sharing more about that. We are creating some schedule changes and additions. So for instance, like I said, I'm noticing that people don't have as many questions on the day of the coaching calls. So we're going to change how that works slightly. It doesn't mean people have less chance to ask questions, but we are going to change how those happen. And we're going to have now implementation weeks, sprints throughout the program to really get through the main kind of core directives of the program. And we're going to have regroup weeks. So not only are we having these refocus sessions, we're going to have regrouping weeks where we actually all just get together and say, I have so much to catch up on. Here's what I'm going to do. I will likely be adding in monthly masterclasses because I've had people, reach out to me and say, hey, I'd love to do a class on this in there. And so I think that'll be coming kind of towards the end of 2022, beginning of 2023. And that'll be a nice little fun thing. So it's not just all me in here. This is like the most exciting one and the one that I have been wanting, but I'm like, how do I do this? We're bringing in someone who can be more of an implementation person for people in the program, because that's what people need more than anything. They need help creating their, putting their things into ConvertKit or putting their things into Lead Pages or whatever it is for them. And we will have specific tools that we use. So if you use those same tools, then you can get help from our team. This is something that I will totally say that I got from one of my other coaches, and I'm in another program. And I think she recently just added this. She recently just added like an implementation support for the people in there because it wasn't in there when I first joined the program. But yeah, so that's kind of exciting because if you don't have a team, if you're like, oh, I'd really love help, just like having someone else put those emails in a funnel in my active campaign or setting up my automation or whatever, then you're going to get that. That hasn't been implemented yet into the program, but that is coming as well. And then also, this is the other thing, course creation support in the form of probably content to begin with and like a step-by-step process. I'm not sure if it's going to be another course in itself inside the program, but we're definitely going to really take this seriously because so many people are leaders already in their industry and they just want to pull their programs together. And so this is something that if literally everybody who's come in, except maybe a few people, have needed this kind of support, I've got to add it. Now, I'd love to tell you, of course, more about the program. And we do have a private training coming up that we're going to be doing in just a few weeks. And all you have to do to get that invite is actually just apply to the program. And then we'll invite you when we have that live class. I have the replay from our last one, but I would rather it if I could meet you live, to be totally honest. Yes, I'm okay with evergreen kind of funnels and things like that, but I get my joy and I love getting on live with people. So the private training is suited for people who actually are a good fit for the program. That's why we make you apply, because I only want people on there who are like, I'm actually curious about how could this help me? Am I the right fit for this? That's why we don't make it public and free, just so that anybody can just come to it. It's not that we're trying to exclude anyone. We just want to make sure that the people who are on there are actually serious and maybe the right people, the right fit for this. And if you're not sure, you can just email me. We can talk through the application instead of just filling it out. So let me know. There will be a link down in the show notes. And if you'd like to know more about what goes into this program and perhaps even how it's changing, being on the pulse of that, and maybe you're curious or /nosy like I get about any aspect of what we do, who's in the program, what kind of content, how we set it up, who my coach is, you can just send me a message. I really want to encourage everyone listening to go to Instagram, look me up, Anne Samoilov, and send me a DM. I want to know where you stand on these types of longer programs or just making changes to your own programs, whether it's just an online course, maybe that's a 6-week or 8-week program, or it's a longer program. I'd love to know where you stand on making changes and if you've been through this process yourself. All right. That is it for today. Thank you so much for listening. Hang tight because next week, what do we got coming up? What do we have coming up here? Next week is kind of a fun, light episode where I'm going to talk to you about building in the specific type of projects and revenue streams to your business to add some lightness to everything so that not everything has to be so difficult. So hang tight for that. That'll be coming next week. Have a great rest of your day. Have a great rest of your week. And I will see you next week.